Hey now, we're broadcasting live here from Pershing Square in downtown Los Angeles, California. This is the Occupy LA General Assembly, which is actually being also live streamed by Savage Truth. If you're interested in finding out what's going on in the General Assembly, go ahead and check the Savage Truth live stream because I'm going to be just walking around from the sidelines. Oh my gosh, some of the talking here is really cool. So I'm gonna go over here and check out the chalking. This says 2011, 1718 million spent on war, 400 wait, million a day. I don't know. Shit tons of money in Afghanistan. Here it says totally stupid for real. There's a big happy face over there in that big circle. It's really cute.
And next week, hey, on Monday, we got a new signal on Monday, and that's the direct response. So on Monday, we're going to be doing more circular here. So direct response, if I say something, then Nina really has to respond to it because she's got important
But that
information for me.
direct response hand
Or
signal takes two hands, and I only have one. Hi, how do I do it? It doesn't make sense. I only have one
so
hand.
speaking of,
How do you do it?
what we're doing Monday and Friday, does anybody know what we're doing Monday and Friday? We're gonna restructure. We're gonna have different assemblies Mondays and Fridays. So instead of having general assembly Monday, we're gonna have ideas and outreach. And instead of having general assembly Friday, we're gonna have social and cultural night where we, can circle up in our respective groups and committees. If you're in a committee or a working group or whatever that you want to do, be sure to be there Monday. Be sure to introduce people to what you do. Be sure to be there on Friday to set up a table or a little tent or something so that you can come back and forth.
Hi, good to see you again.
Of course, good to see you too.
So for our discussion section today,
How are you?
I'm excited.
Yeah, you excited to be back?
Yeah, I'm totally
Pick up
excited to be back.
things. Yeah, it's been
Can you hold it for a second?
sure. Yeah, it's been a pretty funny week.
Yeah? Do you want to tell the live stream about it?
Sure. Yeah. We've been occupying our favorite friends, who's known as the Corrupt Capitalist Association,
Oh, nice. I like this.
also known as the Central Cities Association, who are the leading gentrifiers in Los
Can you
Angeles.
grab that real quick?
They are literally the ones that are behind all the business improvements, which are not improvements, but used to drive out low income housing, low income business, low income people, small businesses out of the downtown under the guise of beautification and safety, which is absolute horseshit. It's just like economic colonization as usual. And we have to decolonize not only our minds but our spaces that we inhabit. So we were fighting back, and there's been some repression against us on that because CCA also has really good ties. They pretty much control the LAPD in downtown area. So Central Division have been harassing us. Sheriffs have been harassing us. They were harassing Kings fans and using flashbangs and horses to
No, I
charge their
heard about that.
crowds.
Kings is like a hockey team or something?
Yeah, the Kings are the hockey team. They haven't won a championship in their history of the franchise. So this was the first championship, and they won it here. The fans were very calm and happy, and they were just celebrating
Were you
like
down
they have the
there?
right to. I was actually here, but I was watching on stream. I was at the GA. I didn't want to leave the GA for it. I was gonna go after GA, but it was already mayhem after GA was over. But the police, as usual, overreacted, used their force use the weapons that they already paid for. So I guess they have to use them so they could buy
Well,
more.
so they can get more, yeah.
Yeah, so they could buy more, so they have a reason to buy more. And yeah, they scared the shit out of people. People thought they got tear gas, but it was just a flashbang. And
Okay.
it's insane that like they got no news coverage, like zero the next day. There was nothing about it on the news except like Kings won, but
Wow, that's
nothing
crazy.
about police brutality and any of that.
I mean,
So
I heard like first thing in the morning there was flashbangs, grenade tear gas. Someone
yeah,
else said there was rubber bullets.
they had them out. This was Kings on Monday when the Kings won.
Oh,
Yeah, it was pretty hectic out there, and it was funny. The police scanners were apparently saying that there were like 200 anarchists in the crowd inciting stuff, and there was like
Wow. They
probably
pay for 200
there was probably no
infantry.
more than like 2,000 people out there, and I say about 99% of them had some sort of King's pair like stuff on.
Uh-huh.
So from the stream, it looked like there was just nothing but just people celebrating, and
Yeah.
they're once again justifying
So they
their
weren't flipping
brutality.
cars
Nothing
and
like
setting
that.
fires
Nothing
and
like that. They were on the street, jumping around. They, drummed on some buses that they drove by, which is,
uh-huh.
you know, nothing wrong with that. The bus driver didn't seem, disturbed by it or anyway.
Yeah.
And the cops just look for an excuse to use that kind of force. They've been out on tactical alert for, what, 4 days or something because of the Kings game, and they needed to justify the reason why they had so much police out here.
That's crazy.
So any reason for them to use force and say, hey,
So
look, this is why we need to be out here for 4 days straight in
have the
tactical
cops
alert.
been bothering the occupiers?
They've been kind of okay about us being at 626 Wilshire. I think it's a tactic that CCA is probably saying that like having lots of police brutality or any like things on violation of our First Amendment would reflect bad on them in ways too.
Yes, absolutely.
So since we've been very organized in getting up in the morning at
Uh-huh.
6 in the morning according to the law and all that stuff, so there hasn't been too much there. There was harassment pretty much every night in terms of coming by and checking up on us and stuff,
Uh-huh.
walking through, just doing little bit of things. But
Okay.
they do constantly have some sort of surveillance on us,
Uh-huh.
whether it's the purple shirts or the other
Sure.
VID people. So someone's always there. Whether if the cops aren't there, then some of the purple shirts are there. If the purple shirts aren't there, then like some other security's
So
out
I
there.
heard
So
that there was a code of conduct. Are people like following with the
yes,
code
the
of
code of
conduct?
conduct is very simple. Just respect one another. Don't get wasted. Don't talk to cops unless you're the designated cop talker and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
Well, I kind of like to drink a little when I'm
and
out
I
camping.
did,
Is
and
that
we
a
have said
problem?
that we got rid of all that. To say that
Uh-huh.
use your discretion.
Uh-huh.
Just don't get wasted. And if you
Okay.
do get wasted, walk away,
Okay.
chill out, and come back. We felt like drinking and especially like for a lot of us medicating and
Uh-huh.
medical marijuana is like a personal protest, and it's a choice that should be made as a person.
Well, I
So
think
we
it's more
shouldn't
like
limit
how
it.
how do you behave?
Exactly.
Like you know.
As long as we don't bring too much attention to ourselves
Okay.
for that, I don't think it's a big deal. So it's been really good about people being very disciplined in front of the police.
Yeah.
Um, Wednesday night, I believe there was some guy who works in the same building as the CCA office. He came down and started yelling at us about banging on the pots and pans and saying it was loud and it was disturbing his family and all this stuff.
Because there's are the residents?
It's literally 2.5 blocks away. I doubt they could hear,
Uh-huh.
but he was just looking for an excuse to just come and harass us.
Well,
And
I know when we were at City Hall, there were residents who said they were
yeah,
loud.
that's
So.
no, it's true. And when we were at Main Street, it was the same thing.
Okay.
And
Well, there were definitely residents at Main Street.
exactly, and they were
So I
very
think at
unhappy.
Main Street, they had a grievance.
Yeah,
I mean,
but Wilshire
we
is
did bother people at Main
yeah,
Street.
we did,
But-
and it was made very clear to us in certain nights
but
from the residents
at
themselves.
City Hall, like really.
No, I don't
people,
think
that's
I
not
think
a-
it was another excuse to
Yeah.
come and start stuff. Like this guy made his excuse. He apparently has been coming around and checking up on the camps. During the day when he works, like in the office, he'll come out and just like walk around on his break.
Here?
And no, like at CCA, like in the mornings and stuff, like when they're decamping. Sometimes they'll stay there, past 6 with their stuff. They'll like take down the tents, but they'll stay there.
Okay.
And the guy's been coming around here and there, so we assume that he's feeding info to the CCA. And instead of giving him any info, we just like drove him out by chanting at him, and he flagged over down a cop. And when the cop came, like no one went and like talked to the cops or the guy. Everybody just stuck to their cameras and just filmed the interaction between the cops and the guy.
That's awesome.
And the best part of it all is that because we were so silent, we got to hear the interaction. And one of the cops told the guy, "We can't tell them what to do."
Nice.
And to me, that was telling that what we were doing was completely in their eyes legal. and there's nothing they could do to us because not only because of our First Amendment rights, but because of the Jones Agreement in the city, because we have a right to be there from 9 a.m. to 6 a.m. They can't do anything. So they pretty much like another thing was on Monday, like after the Kings thing, we were camping there. That was right around the corner from pretty much from the mayhem, and they came in about four cop cars, sheriff cars, and started harassing us about wearing bandanas because they were saying that people are evading crime and that people shouldn't be wearing bandanas. And we said no one here was near there, and they said how long? What are you guys doing? And so we said we've been here for 3 weeks, and what we're doing, LAPD knows. So you guys could talk to them if you want to bother us, and then made them leave. They were like, okay, well, if they, I guess they figured,
Kind
yeah.
of occupiers here. I mean, I'm not gonna say who, but I heard that someone did get arrested for wearing a bandana.
Yes, someone was wearing a
I'm not gonna
bandana.
say who.
Yeah, I don't want to say who it was either, but on Monday, they were, him with two other comrades are coming back towards the 626 Wilshire from the Kings thing. They were actually out there to just flyer. So, but because of they heard tear gas, people put on their bandanas.
Yeah.
So they were walking through, and they were right by the metro station, right there on 7th
I
Street.
have orange ones.
Yeah, they were right by 7th Street metro station, and there were tons of sheriffs there. And one of the sheriffs told the comrade, "Hey, you need to take off your bandana." And he said, "No, I have a right to wear this." And they just came up and just arrested him and took him in. Like it was pretty much kidnapping in certain ways. Like
It sounds like it.
yeah, and the thing is, it's like
A lot of crimes wear a bandana.
you so the California Penal Code says that you cannot wear a bandana in public places if you are evading or resisting an arrest, evading a crime or resisting an arrest, which neither thing the person was doing. So it was completely a bogus charge. I think they were just trying to make one arrest. They were trying to make some arrests to justify the amount of cops being out there and the amount of money they spent to police the rioters or whatever they wanted to say. So I think that's what it came down to, was that they needed to grab a face, and they grabbed somebody who looked in their description like a protester or an anarchist. So that's pretty much what they did. But the charges won't stick. It's bogus. So
I mean, he seems like a really nice guy. I can't see him.
yeah, it's really well, like we joked about how they grabbed, if they wanted to make an example out of somebody for the night, they grabbed the wrong person because he's like the calmest, most nice person.
I can't see him. Like he's very rational. And
You know, he went out there with
I can't see him.
he was one of the people that were supposed to be the de-escalation
Yeah,
people
he's
for the
definitely
group that went out to do the flyering. Like his role was to de-escalate because he's good at that. And to me, like the fact that they grabbed the guy that we designated as the guy to de-escalate every situation during the night is just ridiculous. And yeah, it's a terrible mistake because they realize that this kind of stuff, if they charge him for it, can go to once again reaffirm our rights to do that in public spaces, because we could take that into court. Like lawyers, ACLU and other lawyers will absolutely take on this because it's already justified that they could do this according to penal code. So this gives them another. This gives us another excuse.
Charges are, though?
I don't know. It's a misdemeanor charge, I assume, and I assume that it won't
Was
stay.
he actually charged with wearing
Yes,
a bandana?
that's what I heard. That they charge them with that penal code, like whatever the penal code violation is.
That's crazy.
Yeah, of wearing disguising your face in public spaces, but in circumstances of evading a crime or resisting arrest, which neither he was doing.
was
Same thing with
protecting from
so, well,
possible
it's
tear gas,
exactly
but-
kind of same thing with lynching.
Yeah.
You know how they say that it's lynching in a space of riots, and that's the reason why the charges
Well, are
don't
you familiar
stick.
With Occupy Oakland when they went when Bella.
Yeah.
I don't know how Bella Iko. She
Yeah,
went
yeah.
to court. Did you see that one?
Yes.
If you guys haven't seen that one, look it up. Bella Iko.
Yeah, on YouTube. Yeah,
She
you should
went-
watch
She
that.
went to court because Oakland was trying to make a law that you can't bring a shield to a protest.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
So,
stupid.
so going back to the idea, like lynching charges don't stick because there's no riots when these charges happen.
Yeah.
So it's because there's no riots, they can't legally say that the person snatched the person back from the cops in a riot. So there is no justification and basis for that arrest.
Sometimes there is a riot. It's just the cops. Who are
Exactly. Well, exactly. So if they admit to that, sure.
Because
But
I did witness a lynching situation.
Yeah.
And it was the cops.
Exactly.
And it was all good and peaceful, and the cops came and started rioting.
I agree with that, and I think this is the same thing that will happen with this charge, with this whole wearing bandana. I think that the penal code is written in ways that they can't justify that arrest. So I'm assuming that it was just a fear tactic and just for PR use,
Yeah.
just in case like LA Times wrote a smearing article about LAPD the next day.
I think they're really trying to scare us.
And I think it's a PR move. They needed to arrest somebody to justify that kind of force.
Yeah.
Why would they not make single arrests but flashbang the crowd? Like, what were they doing? So I think those kind of questions can't. They'll be like, oh, we arrested an anarchist, and simple as that, right? And that's
Yeah.
kind of how like the media is starting to spin that
But then
whole.
there's that whole definition of
Of course,
anarchist.
of course.
Like,
Well,
really?
for me, of course, for a lot of us that studied, the theories of anarchism, realize that what they're trying to do is just pretty much do another, Red Scare, it's like a McCarthyism all over again in terms of using mainstream media to portray anarchists as somehow violent protesters and equate them with looting and burning and all these, things that are
Yeah.
people don't agree with. But in essence, it's not what they do.
But newsflash, you can be a pacifist anarchist.
Exactly,
Oh.
and not only that,
Newsflash.
yeah, not only that, if you want to go by their definition, our government should be the number one anarchist organization in the world,
'Cause they don't follow the
because they
law.
they don't follow no laws. They loot, steal, kill, maim, and they burn like just like their description of what anarchists supposedly do. So. If anything, mainstream media, if you're listening out there, you have portrayed your own government as an anarchist government.
Yeah.
So
Well,
remember that
apparently,
that's
when there's
bullshit.
a big action, mainstream media does watch the live streams.
They do mainstream media. There was that nice LAPD story on Channel 7 in February or so, maybe March, about how they were watching the live streams of the
I know, I
camp.
saw that.
Yeah, that was really creepy. That room they showed that big room with all the cameras,
Yeah,
and
that was creepy.
it was really creepy the amount of surveillance that happens in our
I don't know,
place.
it's like to just know,
Of course.
hello, officer. I know you're
Exactly,
watching, like,
exactly. But we have no fear because we're doing nothing wrong. We're peaceful. We're moving. We're nonviolent, and we're moving in the right direction to fix our grieve our grievances. Address our grievances, and that's really all it is in the end. And all of us have different grievances, and a lot of us have different ways of expressing our grievances. And for me, it's however we remain, we are facing a violent state, and any reaction to violence to me is in some way self-defense, and it's for survival in some way. So for some people they might react differently, but I don't see that as we can't define things as just violence and non-violence in a binary fashion. But we could look at the roots of those words, roots of how they define those words, and we really could re-examine how people struggle and have to sometimes fight back in certain ways in very non, and we want to
by
advocate
wearing
for
a bandana
exactly.
or holding a trash can in
Exactly.
front of you.
Exactly. Self-protection and all that stuff is definitely necessary in front of the police state, who are the aggressors in every situation all across the world historically. And if we look at any successful movements, it is because they have defended themselves from the state in some ways. And we're not advocating ever to say that we're going to fight back in those kind of ways, but we are going to defend ourselves from that kind of brutality when we don't deserve it. Yeah, like the whole tools of violence thing that you're talking about in Oakland is absolute, travesty. The tools of violence should be targeted at the cops, and what they should tell the cops is, you need to come out there with nothing but riot shields, helmets, and batons, and that's the only things that you should be able to carry to control a crowd.
Why
Because
the baton though? I mean,
because they could at least push people. I mean, I feel like without it they would feel really unsafe. But I think that's.
I mean, in Chicago they have like baseball.
Oh,
bats.
those I got hit with one of those before, and those things are really, really, really brutal.
I
And
mean, I've only been like face to face.
Yeah.
With a baton, but even that.
I have a slightly fractured rib from M17, from March 17th. Police,
I was watching online.
yeah, some police hit me, and they were very brutal that day. And because of the adrenaline rush of what's happening in front of you, you don't even realize that you're getting hit, and that's why people get their bones broken. Not because they hit you that hard, but because they hit you repeatedly. Because you don't actually end up moving when they hit you, because you don't even know what's going on around you. When the police are rioting, you don't feel safe, and you're on flight and fight mode, and a lot of us want to flight, and we can't flight, so we get stuck.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't, yeah, so you get
can't,
stuck.
like, when they have their baton up,
Yeah,
and it's usually there's nowhere to go.
yeah, and you're frozen too, and
And
that's
they're
kind
like,
of
get back.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not back. I'm
Exactly.
On the fucking fence. What do you want me to do?
exactly. And
That's how they
see, but those words that they use are you gotta think about every word that they use is technical legal terms. Like when they say get back, means that if we didn't get back in any way, that means that we could actually make progress towards the cops, which is a threatening gesture according to the law. So that they say things like get back, stop
So
resisting.
I'll normally turn my camera and film behind me so that you can see that I'm
Exactly.
trying to back.
Exactly. So I think this is about the end of the time for the group discussion at GA, and I think I should hand this back over
Okay, dokie.
to the streamer.
Oh, I'm not even. The Savage Truth is streaming GA. I'm just telling people if you're tuning in, tune into Savage Truth. I'm not. I'm not streaming GA.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
talking because I just got back today.
Yeah, no, this is
So
great.
thank you for all that info.
Yes, of course.
So again, if you want to watch the GA, go ahead and tune into Savage Truth.
We need your attention, sir. Huh? We need you. I need your attention too. Come over here. Okay.
Hi, Spot Kitty. Streamer fundraiser, awesome! Thank you. Hey, now if you're just tuning in, hi. Good, good, good. If you're just tuning in and you're interested in watching the General Assembly, tune into Savage Truth.
Please send a delegate. Be on
Since
staff.
I just returned today, I'm kind of just walking around talking to people, catching up. But Savage Truth is right up there in the front, so you can find out what's actually going on in the GA if you care.
All right, so our group recognized that the new format is a wager, but we believe that it's a good
Later on,
wager.
there's going to be a march, and we're going to be camping tonight.
Um,
Hey, how's it going?
so I
I've been
believe think
concentrating
that
on
we're
school, but
going
I'm
to
back for
create
summer.
will, give everyone a chance who's new or even within our own movement right now to get to know each other a little more and find out, just beyond the whole, just GA format and marching on the streets. Some of what was at the encampment can be recaptured. Like, one of the suggestions was that we could, what they missed is folks playing like games or like in basketball. Sometimes you see it right before the GA, but that's a very important thing, because we want to be more than just, well, we want, friendships need to, you know, build, and that's what really kind of keeps a movement together, right? All these little bonds, all these little connections. So that's what we're looking forward to, and come in. Oh, and education. Always important. Please don't throw frisbees at the assembly.
It's getting cold suddenly.
Oh, come on, Chris Jr. That's fascist talk. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. As I'm aware, on Monday we're going to have the outreach ideas and discussions. On Fridays we have the movement. What our group discussed is that on Monday night we can invite different community members over here and have debates with them. I know and I understand that we have a lot of misunderstandings. We have a lot of different point of view, but through debating, I think we can find a common platform where common ideas becomes real.
Oh, he
We
has a
would love
rat.
to encourage people to come
That's
and
crazy.
debate and discuss most of the
Rufa.
ideas.
Rupa?
The second thing we're
Rufia.
discussing that the practical items, rather than doing
She
outreach,
should technically be
people
credited with also
who
being
want
up
to be
there.
members and play
Oh,
different
yeah.
games. The GA, that we can
So
do
that's
on
Rufia up there
Saturday
addressing the
we always have
General
a
Assembly right
delegation
now.
of staff members.
Our
We
leader.
suggested that we go
I
to
thought it was
call and
Duncan.
inform those people that
Anything
we
that's
can
not a
give you
human.
what the GA is doing, so you
Or
have a
barely
clear
on the line.
understanding rather than informing the upper class or middle class who really doesn't care about the whole thing. The third thing we can do on Monday is action on Venice. I did not hear the exact details about what the action was on Venice, but this can be an idea we can develop. Oh yeah, yeah. We can go on Venice and inform what's really happening with the marijuana proclamation. On Friday night, we discussed to have movies, informative movies like Thrive, like Inside Job, to educate people about why our country's economy is suffering invite different cultural groups to have performances and food and whatnot. And if you need people to get louder, please try to call out mic check or just repeat what they're saying and start doing it. You know, like Lucky does all the time. We can't hear him now, but it's great. The hand signal we can use is this, or raise the roof, please. All right, next person on staff, can group record that?
So some of the things our group talked about, we're all really excited about the new format. We think that it will open up a lot of possibilities. There were some things that we wanted to make sure happened though. One story that we shared was about a mother and a child who came to us and folks were smoking, asthma, the space. And so especially on Fridays, we wanted to make sure that people who might not be comfortable with smoking, might not want their kids exposed to people cussing around them, that together we can voluntarily create an atmosphere where that's not a problem for them. And if, this wasn't mentioned in the meeting, but there can always be a space where folks smoke. It's also a place where people
Hey,
can, Friday
how's it
evening
going?
is a place where
Good to see you again.
so that people from the neighborhood, community members can come and receive services
I'm back now, though.
judgment without the bureaucracy that they might have to face if they're receiving services in another place. So receive help with health care, get free food, so on and so forth. Clothes. It would be an alternative space for the community. Whether or not you fit into, like a lot of community spaces, a lot of cultural spaces. It would be a place where people would be referred to. So if we're having trouble with your home foreclosure, somebody said you should go to Pershing Square, South End on Friday night, and there are people you can talk to about it there. If you're having trouble, if the principal at your school is being an asshole, there's a place that you can go and talk to people who can help you organize around that. Any sort of problem you're facing, any sort of thing that you want to work on.
Olive. I'm just checking the intersection. 6 and Olive. That's where we are. We're at 6 and Olive. Oh, you gotta go say hi. Pero!
Yo, sir, my name is Pedro. Nice to meet you. Hey, I'll play the song for everybody first so everybody knows that we're involved in
I got that on live stream. I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Hey.
Patty!
He's gonna hate me for the rest of it. I didn't, I'm kidding.
Patty, I'm so drunk right now.
Oh, so I can live stream you then?
I love you. I've been drinking. After I left you, I've still been drinking.
So it's okay to stream you then?
Fucking drunk.
But I got a new shirt. I don't know. Whoever gave me this shirt, I love you. I don't know who you were. Thank you.
There's a lot of people here I don't know. How's it going? I don't recognize anybody here. There's so many people I don't recognize.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to meet people now.
I've been gone for a while, so there's all these new people.
Came back today. I was on the website.
People have been telling me that all day.
I'm a nomad occupier. I can't tell other cities what to
I gotta
do.
let Coco take the first hit.
I can't even tell people what to do, and I'm from here.
Yeah, so come on up and
Because
please.
if it wouldn't have been for him that day in Barstow, none of us would have got high.
All right, so there's going to be some kind of proposal happening right now. If you're really interested in finding out about it, tune in to Savage Truth on Ustream.
Okay, is anybody else sound check good? Okay, so I guess we're gonna move on into our proposals. Mic check. Mic check. Did everybody bring it in? Everybody bring it in. Everybody. Everybody. So we need. Who do you want to propose to? Bradley Manning, Josh, Jeff, Lila. Bradley Manning support group. Raise your hand.
We're right here.
You can introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Josh. Hi, Josh. I've been. This is Lila.
Carlos.
Josh.
Where's Danny? I'm right here. Oh, I'm Danny. Sorry. I didn't know there was Danny.
So I've organized. This is going to be the sixth action for Bradley Manning, and we're trying to do it in every city that we can to raise awareness in that city, get it in their newspaper, get people talking about him. It's important to me personally because it's a real person. It's not just a random idea of something conceptually. It's like this dude's in jail. He really sacrificed a lot to get information out, and it's also kind of a know that to know this when you're doing outreach about Occupy. It's like look into Bradley Manning, then you might find out about the Arab Spring, and then by the time you get around to Occupy Wall Street, it all makes sense. So we're looking to occupy for 3 days at a federal court building, and she has more information about that.
So we want to do the weekend leading up to the first court date hearing, which is the 16th on Monday. So we want to do tentatively an encampment Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night at an undisclosed court location, preferably here in downtown. In July, and that will be the 13th, which is Friday, the 14th, 15th, and it will end on Monday, the 16th, with a march leaving from Pershing Square in the evening. Over the course of those few days, we want to have teach-ins on Bradley Manning, what he revealed, all of that on Sunday and Saturday afternoon. We're also trying to get musical guests together for Saturday evening with an open mic night for anybody that wants to share any Bradley Manning inspired poetry or art or songs or what have you. And then Sunday night we'll have a planning general assembly where everybody that wants to be involved can get together and we can start planning the next action for August because Bradley's going to be coming up for trial 5 days out of every month. So we want to keep going and building. We've already done actions in Brea, Pasadena, Ventura, and now we want to bring it home because these hearings specifically they're going to get on with a lot of the presentation of the information. So what we are asking for is a total of 160 for Bradley Manning to make two banners. One that's really massive and can sprawl. We can put it over the 101. Although we're not going to drop it, we want to hold it so that we can keep it for future actions. And then a smaller one that people can hold when we're doing the marches because during the actions we always end the march to a candle vigil. So that would be 160. And we already have members from the group that have volunteered to make that. And then 140 for food for the weekend. It's $20 per meal. And so it's 8 meals total, 3 Saturday, 3 Sunday, 2 on Monday. We're also going to be reaching out to other organizations, Code Pink, Food Not Bombs, those kinds of things to build networking. We're going to leave it open to see if they want to volunteer any food or any resources or if they wanted to get involved. So we'll also be contacting some of them. I'd be loving any feedback of anybody that might want to get involved in that way. So that's where our proposal stands. It's $300 total, and
Me too. Me too.
So the why, by the way, is Occupy Los Angeles has lavish advertising. So, are there any questions of clarity in this chapter? If you have questions of clarity, I don't understand something, when is this, why are we doing that, and not, I'm going to phrase a concern in the form of a question. So we're going to get to concerns. What's questions of clarity?
I'm gonna go get my tent for my car.
Kelly.
Why?
Huh? What's that?
Hi, Jay.
Cup, Cuphead saying no because you stuck on her lip.
What?
A Cuphead saying no, no questions
The
with
cop?
their lip out. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's cute.
Okay, next
She
on
was going like
chat,
this.
Swan.
I'm gonna drop stream and come back so we can adjust the light.